Who invented the game PUBG and how did it change from a catastrophic failure to that of excellence? A man in his 40s failed in various jobs he worked in during his age. His wife deserted him, his companions boycotted him, and he was isolated from people. However, in an unexpected way, it turned his utter failure into a reconciliation that reaped hundreds of millions of dollars. Brendan Greene, an Irish man, born in 1980, he completed high school in 1998 and joined the College of Arts hoping to work in acting. However, in the wake of his graduation, he failed to get a job in art due to his lack of agency. As he says, he searched for another job and worked in graphic design and programming websites in order to earn a living, except that he did not work in his country. So he traveled to Brazil to work as a photographer and web page designer. He was unlucky and failed at that job as well. So he decided to become a musician. He worked as a DJ and composed copious pieces in which he also failed miserably. His wife deserted him due to his failure, turned away from him around him, and isolated himself in his apartment, not speaking to anyone. As a young man in the 1980s, he would vent his anger with video games. Greene's story began with video games as a child at the Atari 2600. In the 1990s, he could buy a computer during the Windows revolution. He was playing the popular game Doom on the computer at the time. With the internet revolution in the mid-1990s, he moved to team games, the most important of which was Delta Force. He dropped out of games during his preoccupation with university, marriage and searching for work. When his romantic crisis with work and marriage intensified, he isolated himself in video games. At its time, the game Arma 2 was dominating, so Greene took advantage of the game's programmers to allow players to revise the story of the game. He worked on the top, modifying it and adding to it dramatic plots and elements that he saw were deficient, adjust it so that every decision the player takes becomes a fateful decision. Then he decided to add a new situation, allowing players to sign between them and a few. Greene was not a gamer, but with a modicum of experience he continued effective game dimensions. Then he shared it with the rest of the players to meet his developments. Widely known throughout the world, Brendan is a well-known game developer. Despite being a hobbyist, he liked the game update issue, and one day he saw the Japanese movie Battle Royale. It is represented by a number of male and female students killing each other in one place. Brendan was affected by the movie, and it crossed his mind to see how he would turn it into a video game, continue with the popular Korean games establishment and explain the idea to them. And he continued to her in the dramatic wake that the player, as in reality, has only one possibility: either he dies or dwells. The commercial facility accepted the proposal and programmed the game and launched it in stores in 2017. The game has been an international win since its early days. Then it went down on portable phones and saved its file 2 million times during just 60 days. Brendan raised $200 million in just 4 months after his game became the most famous in the world.